So something a bit different. I'm going to be combining the next two chapters into one video. So I hope you like it. Chapter 12. It all started when a certain minority skin tone thief with anime-colored hair pilfered with many belts while their owners wore them. The ash shirts of uniformity belonging to those students possessing at least one Y chromosome in their genetic makeup succumbed to the forces of Remnant's gravitational pull in that moment in a certain hallway within a rapid succession of each other. A blizzard of undergarments exposed their shameful visages upon the watchful eye of the public, a grand social judge, as the eagle judges the sparrow and the lion judges the hare. So too does one's peers. Chaos and pandemonium ensued as if the sky were ablaze, and the sea turned solid, blood coursed in an upward direction as hopes and dreams rose towards the stars, and the instrument of mating faced the world in nothing but the crotch covers of fabric. The pants begged for forgiveness as they failed, their solemn duty to cover the lower appendages and the collective pelvis of the body of manhood, and the heavens mourned as the sounds of various fabrics folded across the ground seemed to be audible universally, akin to the first shot of the Great War. Emerald twirled the stolen belts and gave a hearty laugh worthy of a true street horror vacuo. For what did Roman know about pickpocketing? Emerald was having a gay old time in a fancy pants school while all the boys dropped their fancy pants, while Roman lay rotting God knows where. Perhaps if that gentlemanly figgot had treated her and Mercury with 2 teaspoons of respect, perhaps she would not have spread the Roman dick pics far across the lands of the internet. Roman had been so careful, so cautious to avoid capture by the authorities, yet all of his efforts were for naught. He had been apprehended, his plans foiled by just one positive identification in the dick lineup. Serves him right. And Emerald had proven to him who was the true emperor of debauchery. Emerald sighed in satisfaction as she masturbated in a fit of rage to a picture of Roman's recently discovered festering carcass. "That'll learn him," Emerald thought to herself, with pleasure as she utilized her special golden diamond-encrusted nuclear fusion-powered vibrating dildo, her super-ultra combo anal beads assembled from the finest silver change, large great-ass pearls, and gilded doorknobs that money could buy, and her sensual nerve-amplifying lotion made from the tears of the elderly and the blood of royal infants to bring herself closer to a naked woman's brief soaker mouth. Ultimate Attack! Such fine instruments normally owned by creepy rich people were obtained during Emerald's first gratuitous heist after graduating from the Thieves' Guild. After months of planning, she and Mercury had infiltrated the Schnee overly expensive sex toy Dimmadome and stolen said goods without triggering the alarm systems. Emerald had safely concealed the spoils from airport security safely in her anal passage. She missed Mercury. He just wasn't the same person inside that thermometer as he used to be. Tiny diamonds poured out of her eyes as she realized that in the end, she would not need to pay him to shut up. Suddenly, a horde of bloodthirsty, mentally challenged male students barged into her dorm and restrained her arms and legs with the belts that Emerald had left on the floor, and before anyone could react, there were dicks everywhere. There were dicks on the wall, and dicks flying around. Emerald was covered in dicks! What a perverse form of divine vengeance, for when one is pants in public, the entire male population is pants in public. But when the entire male population really is pants in public, basic math increases the offense exponentially, and Emerald now faced the ultimate punishment, death by dicking. "I brought this upon myself," Emerald despaired in her mind as the aura of pure hate radiated from the belts and burned her skin as the boys pulled the green chains out of her weapons of choice and strangled her with them. Emerald's vision became confined to a tunnel as she began to run dangerously low on oxygen, and she continued to take damage over time from all the dicks. "I have a good life. I have no regrets," Emerald thought to herself as her world grew darker than her skin. "At least I'll be with Mercury again." The doors burst open for a second time, and the hurricane of cock abated momentarily as Nora and Ren entered the room. The mad gleam emitted from Nora's eyes seemed to manipulate the very fabric of the world as Nora engaged the boys in fisticuffs. Their legs all broke, and they died from the pure getting wrecked that was Nora Valkyrie. Nora eyed Emerald's collection of unnecessarily expensive stimulation tools with delight, as if she were a child celebrating Christmas and her birthday on the same date, and actually getting the correct quantity of presents sufficient for 2 such holidays from parents who understand that it sucks major ass to only get 1 batch of presents if one's birthday coincides with Christmas. Ren appeared out of the void as Nora snapped her fingers. He was about to help Emerald to her feet when his pants fell down to hell, his belt suddenly missing. Nora's rage lit the sky as she deemed the thief forsaken. Ren rammed his phallus into Emerald's ears, severely violating her personal space. Ren's dong was harder and had even greater molecular density than Diamond's, so it came to no one's surprise that a lowly Emerald cracked and fractured as Ren's spear-like president-assassinating dick shattered her ribcage from the side and punctured both her lungs. In the end, she did die of asphyxiation, and Nora proceeded to dump the broken green gem fragments and bloody disappearing dicks into Blake's litter box. And while we're going to be immediately to be continued into Chapter 3, Don't Thrush Me. Russell's thrush clutched his aching Illuminati-shaped balls as he once again resided on the receiving end of a critical hit from another at least semi-attractive human female who had the common sense to beat his ass for attempting to be smooth. The true power that is Zhao Long of Yang punched Russell's wang and slathered his dumb shit mohawk with fake butter. As Russell shuffled around at some form of bizarre physical agony, he happened upon a certain velvet scarlatina, eating 9,001 carrots stored in a jar of Yatsuhashi's sweat. Feeling the need to blow off some metaphorical steam out of his ass, utilizing his non-existent steamboat engine, and desiring to reassert his false sense of masculine dominance over the filthy faunus race, Russell reached out his pockmarked disease-ridden hand and clasped Velvet's non-human ears. "What a freak!" Russell shouted in a kind, tolerant voice as his bruised Bonzi buddy-colored dick rose to power, like how Barack Obama did because literally all the other candidates were even mightier pieces of shit. The psychosis of the mind underneath that mop-up mohawk was a startling enigma, chronicling the tales of the sun and the moon. For what is a man without foolish pride? Ever since he could remember, to his youngest days, as a smaller little turd with a tuft of mold hair, he wanted to be somebody special. But it was not meant to be, and forever true, and the fact was plain as day to his peers and parents. He was rightfully mocked incessantly, his only escape being the internet. On the internet, nobody knows that one is a dog. Russell withdrew to a magical land, hiding behind the incarceration of a tough guy, or an oh-so-original donut steel OC. He could live his dream, at least in his mind. Nobody there could touch him. But in the end, he could not truly escape his reality of failure. He thought he was hot shit, but in real life, he was frozen urine. He tried to be real Super Saiyan, but only achieved fake mediocre dirt. A 360 no-scope aimed at a cute angle body shot in his hands. It was only 99 cents, but he spent 50 land for a t-shirt. Infinite questions, no answer in sight. Philosophers pondered them for centuries with no success. What is the meaning of life? How did time start, and how was the universe created? Do alternate dimensions exist? So to do they question failed to solve the conundrum of why Russell is such a massive fucking loser. But it did not take a philosopher or rocket science or even a non-sentient rocket to answer a different question. Who is the worst freak? The faunus population? Or Russell Shitlord Thrush? At least the faunus generally do not have to wear a diaper in case of excrement accidents. "Please stop!" Velvet cried as Russell unsuccessfully tried to remove her school uniform with his stick arms, yet caused Velvet large quantities of distress as his sweaty paws smeared her clothing. Russell started drooling as his deteriorating eyesight was somehow able to detect a flash of Velvet's panties as she struggled to free herself from the incarnation of Pestilence himself. Russell's overly hentai-corrupted mind suddenly engineered that somewhat brilliant idea to shove one of Velvet's carrots into her moist season of spring, amplified reloading rabid vagina. The carrot shearing through the panties of Kawaii as a holy drill prison shiv of righteous indignation, piercing the fold of fabric as it pierced the clouds of heaven. Velvet grew very moist. She was like a waterfall as Russell's salivation became a great flood and drenched her. Russell's eyes gleamed with hidden madness and delight as Velvet became sufficiently lubricated with the weak ass dagger user's gingivitis, infested primary oral digestive fluids. Russell's mohawk grew fully erect as he engaged in a fistfight with Velvet's anus, and yet even debuffed statistically by the drool. Her sphincter still outleveled Russell's appendages and crushed his pathetic hands as it clenched tighter than the jaws of an enraged villain whose plans once again fall apart. Russell howled in rage as his chicken bones fractured, and the far from intelligent mohawked manchild thrust his falls into Velvet's ass. For the average man, this course of action would be tantamount to suicide. Yet another question for the ages was this: is the Russell Thrush actually a man? Russell's little rod was so slim that it could fit into the death grip of Velvet's anus without imploding. It was like anal sex, except that Russell was probably contracting swine flu or something from all the pathogenic bacteria that resides in the average faunus anal passage, compared to the asses of humans, which are generally considered the cleanest locations on Remnant, except for Russell's, of course. His is probably smellier than a malfunctioning septic tank, which in turn smells worse than a landfill in the middle of July, or some shit that one YouTube ad was blabbering that nobody gave a shit about. Russell's moaning in the heat morphed into screams of abject terror as Nora broke the ceiling and dropped down running in Ursa with a manic grin. Nora grabbed Velvet and pulled her an inch away from Russell so that he was no longer kind of inside her. An audible click rang out as Nora tweaked Velvet's ears.
"Say hello to my sexually distressed friend!"
Nora shouted as a barrage of little rabbit bullet balls of fecal matter discharged from Velvet's bowels and violently mutilated Russell. The Ursa, catching the son of submissive piece of grease meat, extended its 10-foot-long bare dong and forced it into Russell's colon, teaching him how to anal.
"That's a big answer!"
Russell cried out as his internal organs ruptured. As Russell died from blood loss and fecal poisoning, his inferior soul finally freed from the torments of society and now able to descend to hell for an eternity of torment. Velvet's stomach growled as the last of the shit bullets flew, leaving her truly empty. A true tragedy. Russell knocked over all of Velvet's carrots in the process of flailing around in a humorous manner as he was dismembered, and they now lay on the floor and would stand trial and spend life in trash can prison for violating the 5-second law. Velvet would need some new vegetables, and the corpse in her own dug would make the perfect fertilizer. In a small amount of time, she had grown a pleasant plot of Russell sprouts. She ate them and they were fucking disgusting and greasy as fuck. And Velvet had to vomit in Blake's litter box. She bought veggies from the overpriced cafeteria and sexually unsatisfied with a thrust shoved an eggplant into her bunny butt. To be continued.